So ever since I did my first impressions of Omniscient Reader a few weeks back, I've been slowly but surely catching up with the series. And just can we talk about this artwork? Like, look at this artwork. It is so good. It's so good. Like, literally, there's so many panels that just bleed quality. There is so much beauty, so much quality, so much effort in the backgrounds, the characters, and everything. It's outright fantastic. I kept reading, and like, I had to stop myself just to be able to make a video, because it just like, if I kept going, I would catch up, and then like, I wouldn't even know what to talk about, because so much has already happened within this series. I'm currently on chapter 30 of Omniscient Reader, so just, yeah, I've been really binging it, and just like, I'm excited. I'm excited to actually be able to talk about this potentially on a weekly basis because of how good this series actually is. So, anyways, just to clarify a few things, if this is your first time ever seeing a video on Omniscient Reader from me, well, I have a first impressions of this series I did a few weeks back. I'll link it in the description. I'll probably show on a screen here. You can see it for yourself. But basically, if you're interested in the series and you don't want to be spoiled by this video, go out of your way and watch that video. It'll clarify kind of what you want to know from the series. So anyways, with all that out of the way, oh my goodness, like, so many people were telling me, like, Chibi, you gotta keep reading. You gotta keep reading Omniscient Reader. It just gets better and better as you go on. It's so good with the plot and everything. That's what people kept telling me in the comments, what people kept telling me on social media. And I was like, okay, when I was reading this, I was like, definitely just seeing all of this, how enthusiastic everybody was about it, I was like, okay, I gotta keep reading this, because clearly it's gonna get even more fire than it already was. Because the presentation of Omniscient Reader from the first 5 chapters I read, for my first impression, was good, because it's like, it was so meta. It was very meta. You literally had fourth wall breaking, and literally our main character's ability is fourth wall, which is just, I love that. More about that in just a second. But I love how meta the series is, because it's like, it's about a character that has read a series, and that series comes to life. And when we're reading the series that's about a character that's read a series that came to life, it's just like, there's so many layers and meta to this story, with just the abilities and the way it's presented and all that to us, the audience. It's kind of like when they introduce the constellations, when they introduce kind of the main people that are, looking at these characters, what they're doing in this, like, survival game type scenario in this new world, it's kind of like us. Literally, think about this. When we're watching something, or we're reading something, we as the audience, we get enthusiastic. Our emotions constantly shift. Example, while I was, let's say, reading this, like Omniscient Reader, when I'm, reading the series, I'm at those points where, like, oh, I'm pleased with this character's actions, or I'm not pleased with this character's actions, I wish they would have done this, like so-and-so, and literally the constellations are kind of like certified us, the audience, reading the series, and I love the layers to the series. There's so many things to really dissect and pull apart about this story so far, and I love everything about it. It's such a unique take on the whole, let's say, power fantasy, the isekai and new world alternate reality or whatever. It's just everything with those themes and genres. It's such a unique take on it, and I can't get enough of it. And I've heard that there's apparently even a actual novel on the series. I might have to look more into that soon as well, but just everything about what I've read so far is just, it continuously gets better and better. And once again, I am just so thankful to all of you out there that recommended this to me continuously. There was a lot that continuously said, Chibi, if you like, this series, you should read this. Like, we know you love isekai series, we know you love fantasy series, power fantasy series, etc. This is going to be for you, and it is. The plot, the characters, art, it's everything I love. It literally is the perfect package for what I actually look forward to when it comes to something to read, and I am so pumped up. But okay, enough with that. Let's talk about a few things that were revealed throughout the series and my overall thoughts of everything kind of going on. So, one of the things that needs to be talked about is that the entirety of this world going on in Omniscient Reader is basically a Twitch live stream. Like, think about Twitch live streams or YouTube live streams or any form of live stream, basically, okay? And literally everything that's going on in this world is being live streamed to the public by basically the main kind of monster we were introduced to at the beginning of the story, and he's just showcasing all of this to different constellations, individual viewers that might donate money to the channel and to these individuals, kind of like tips, etc. And it literally is like a Twitch stream. And I was just like, holy crap, this is, once again, very meta. I know I'll keep using that word, but it's really meta. It's just like, so he's making money off of all these crazy things going on. It's kind of like an audience seeing a story going on, and they're just cheering, they're getting hyped up, they want to know where it's going to go, so they're just throwing out money to kind of see where it's going to go. And it's just like, everything about the way this is being written, it's very clear that the writer is very equipped with knowing these different genres. He's very affiliated with the game industry. He's very affiliated with, let's say, YouTube and video making and all that. There is a lot that the writer of this series is very well aware of. There is a lot of depth and actual, I guess, just research into all these different topics. It shows. There is a lot of passion and a lot of love put in to Omniscient Reader. It's kind of like, I would say, a love story to a fan of, or like it's a fan that wants to give a love story to those that love this type of stuff. It's like a fan that's read so many different novels, so many different webtoons, and all of that, and just look at this and is like, I want to write something that takes all of this and writes it in a perspective of actually the reader and where they think it's going to go. Just, like I said, it's good. It's so enjoyable. It's a really fun ride. And everything about, like, the way there's donations given and the constellation system works and the power system works, it takes the normal formula of, let's say, like a power system of being thrown into a game or whatever, the world becomes a game, into something more unique, because the way you actually get stronger is through donations. So if you're not really doing that well and people don't take an interest in you, you're thrown to the curbside. You're gonna die. So it's like, wow, only those that really stand out and can entertain those can really survive in this world. And even though it hasn't directly stated that completely, it's pretty much the main presentation or the theme behind the scenes going on, that if you cannot entertain the constellations, you will die. Which this leads into the next part about our main character. So our main character, he plays a very interesting role in this story, because once again, he's a guy that has read the story that has now become real, and his world has been changed to it. And the characters that were from the story are now in his world. So technically, the protagonist of the original story is in his world. That makes this incredibly insane. Because, like example, I'm just trying to throw an example here. Think of, Tower of God. Like, our main character, bam, we read his story, and then all of a sudden, you're casted into that because you've read the story, and he's in this world. But, he's the protagonist of the story, but you're in the story now, so you're like, am I just a side character, or am I the new protagonist? That's kind of what the series presents to the reader, and that's so cool. It's unique. Like I said, it's a very unique way to do storytelling, and the way he has to talk with the protagonist and act like, oh, I know what's going on, but he doesn't want to give too much details, is super fascinating, because the character that is the protagonist of the story is basically the equivalent of Subaru. Think of Subaru from, ReZero. Subaru, has returned by death. He's able to die, repeat, and start over once again. Literally, that's kind of what our main character, or the once protagonist, has. He's able to, continue, and he dies, and he restarts the entirety of the world over again. So it's kind of like very similar to Return by Death. So imagine that, but he's no longer the main character. And our main character knows about this ability, but it's just keeping it to himself. Yeah, as you can see, I love everything that's been introduced. There is a lot of details, so many things to really dive into and dissect when it comes to these different characters. There's a lot of plot points being set up, and there's a lot of different, let's say, mythology thrown in too. Like, you have Chinese mythology, we have some Japanese mythology, though I just think that there is a lot to this series, and apparently the series is already over. From what I heard in the comments when I did my last video, apparently this series actually has already been fully written in a novel form, so I'll have to look deeper into that. But even if that is not true, this is definitely a series I want to keep around and keep reading, because it's just like, I want to see how far this can go, and if eventually he can meet the constellations and get rid of them. That's what I wonder about, because from what we found out, the constellations, when they actually sponsor someone, they don't look at you as a human. They look at you as kind of like a slave. And since technically our main character hasn't formed a contract and got a sponsorship from any of the individual constellations, I wonder as he continues his journey, they're going to be more and more amped up and try to really get him to be sponsored by them, that they might even appear before him. And if that is indeed the case, that would be crazy. So he might actually go out of his way to completely end this entire game itself, and the main enemies are the constellations themselves, which that's another thing to talk about. The thing about the character that makes him fascinating is that he is not forming a contract with any of these constellations, because he's signed a contract with the streamer, which is kind of orchestrating this entire channel, like the main channel streamer. So he is like affiliated with that. It's kind of like he's partnered with like Twitch or something. So he's getting like the direct source of income from him, but on the top of that, he's getting insider information. And since he can't actually form a contract with constellations, there might come a time to where they might try to throw things at him to make it very fascinating. Like they might donate to a certain other character and maybe make them very powerful to stand up to our MC. That would be cool. I wonder if that scenario is going to happen in the story, or if that's just me thinking too hard about it. Whatever the case may be, Omniscient Reader, fantastic series. I give it a full 100% recommendation. If you have not started it yet and you still somehow, watch this video, seriously, what you doing? Go read it. It's good. I'll link it in the description. I'll link it in the comments. Check it for yourself. And on top of that, if you like Webtoon merch and all that, I'll also link a code in the description and also in the comments too. And if you use that code, you'll be able to have a 15% discount on Webtoon's merch store. So you could also use that if you're interested as well. There's quite a few things there to select from. And yeah, I wanted to share that as well. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I just wanted to share my passion and my joy for what I've been reading, and I plan to make more videos for this series. Like, I want to do weekly chapter reviews, or whatever the schedule is when it comes out. Like, I want to do chapter reviews on it. That's how much I love this. So, look forward to that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, though. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click that bell icon down below, because it helps me out a lot. It allows this video to get traction, and for others can experience the joy of what this series is, Omniscient Reader. But guys, be safe. Chibi out.